Welcome to the ShareFair. Just some reminders. My PowerPoint's been acting a little bit goofy. So I'm just gonna warn you. I did update it beforehand. It's been a little bit glitchy, so my apologies if something's kind of go awry. But reminders. This is being recorded, so you can see that up here. Where am I? Oh, that's weird. Some reminders. It's been recorded. We will be sharing this probably best in presenter view. So I think I have mine pinned. Hopefully you can, because I'll be presenting from this space, much like I did the other day. And chat, feel free to throw in questions if you find other links, all kinds of things, because this is a ShareFair. And what is a ShareFair? I'm really glad you asked. Oh, hold on a second. Are you all seeing that? It's like these updates are really kind of wild. So hold on a second.
Yeah, but you also have a slightly disturbing hole in your forehead.
I know I do. And that's because of the shine. That's because of the shine. So I also find that my shirt is doing some weird things today too. So
okay, good.
Just bear with me. This is PowerPoint, right? We're trying some things. And sometimes you just have to see what works and what doesn't. So as I'll get started. What? So what is going on here? Oh, this moves. Has everybody got the new PowerPoint yet? This is like fantastic. I can make my screen bigger. Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh.
Whoa. Hey, stay. Stay.
That's awesome.
Okay.
I think you need to say sit. Stay.
Sit. Okay. Sorry. It's a little cramped. See if I can push. Nope. I pushed the wrong way. Get back. What was it? Sit, stay, speak. Woof. Okay, stop, stay. I'll try this again. Push. Come on. Okay, don't move.
I think you need to do more raise the roof, sort of.
Oh, here. There we go. Okay.
Okay.
But now I got this problem down here. I don't really have enough space. Oh, hold on. This is why you get your another reason for this. Hold on, I'll get that jammed in there. Then try to lower the bottom here. There. Try to sit on it a little bit. Try to get my PowerPoint. Okay. So I'm really sorry. I thought I could get going with the whole green screen, and
I'm extremely entertained. Thank you.
So that's I appreciate it. We'll get going. So next slide. Can you see me? Can you hold on a second? I gotta get my thing here. Let's see about that. If I just do this part here, and let's see. Oh, hold on. I think if I just try this. Oh no. I'll be right back. Hey, I'm back. All right, that was my little intro to Greenscreens. So, I don't know how that went over. You're always in a tough crowd sometimes, but that was right. So I'm actually presenting in OBS, Open Broadcaster software. And so this is all within the nice little framework of Zoom. Here it is. And you can actually send a signal like a webcam, all prepackaged the way you want it to go. In this case, I'm using PowerPoint and something that you were familiar with. But now what I'm doing is my screen for my video is behind my PowerPoint. And I've got the green screen incorporated so that I can do some other fly-in things. But so basically everything that's coming in like a newscast, right? You could create some tickers that go along the bottom. You could have some floating images along here, but I just chose to kind of show like, here's a way in which the screen is kind of shrinking or getting bigger based on chroma key. So green, right? We're looking for a certain color and we're telling the software, hey, don't do anything with that color or block it out and let other things kind of shine through. So this is I gotta see where I am in my PowerPoint presentation because I don't think I think that's really where I want to stop right there. So that's the green screen. How many are using a green screen right now? Nobody? Jody, do you want to talk about your green screen? It's really lovely.
I'm just wearing it right now because I
You're just
don't
wearing it
know how
right
to
now?
hang it. I knew that in this house there was a green screen, but I didn't know it wasn't really a screen.
I have a
Right.
green screen suit and I strongly recommend it.
A green screen suit?
Yeah, for about $10 on Amazon. It's honestly, it hasn't made it into any actual productions, but for entertainment value, you cannot beat it.
Okay.
Excuse
Awesome.
me, would you please tell us how to change your background magically?
So what I wanted to talk today about was you could go all out crazy and it's going to take you probably a little bit of time to kind of figure out how to use green screens. I really want to start quite simple with, hopefully you can see this. Can you see my Zoom?
Yes.
Right, can everybody see that up ahead? So right now I'm still in OBS. So I've got my green screen in the back, which helps me to kind of feel like I'm in the desktop, kind of explaining these things to you. This is something I've been using for teaching a lot this semester. So it's just to me kind of a simple little way to feel like I'm still in front of them with the screen behind me. So something that's kind of similar versus I'm kind of square in a box and it feels like, yeah, you're on a video, but I'm trying to create the illusion that I'm not necessarily in a video, but I am. I'm interacting with my desktop. So it removes that little bit of layer that can kind of get in the way. But one thing that again, some simple tips and tricks, if we start really small and grow tall is kind of the way I look at these things. So if there's things that we could do just to improve the user experience, and a lot of that can be by looking at, say, our virtual backgrounds, for example. And if I look at my background, and this gives you options to look at, you can actually import images. And so you can add a video also, you can also add an image. And I'll show you maybe something you could think about for adding an image or adding a video as far as something fun. Record yourself kind of sitting there actively listening, maybe for 3 seconds, 5 seconds, maybe doing some interesting things like, oh yeah. And then you could actually throw that into your spot and then your boss doesn't know that you're not really there. You're just doing what Gwen just did, which is, oh yeah, that's really interesting, Brian. I had no idea. So again, you can use that as a way to have fun. I actually did this I was on the co-chair of the faculty Senate Committee on Technology. And I was introducing kind of one of the last topics as I was going out. And this was all done via Zoom. And I told them that I was busy working on my cloning program at home. And in the background was me like walking around with coffee and doing some other things and coming up to the screen while I was trying to give my report. So again, it's one of those things where nobody was really expecting it. It was kind of fun. There wasn't something, really serious where I could have distracted from what was going on, but it gave me a chance to, again, that was very simple. It was just a background. I added a video and I knew when to add it so that it started at the right time. So I would have a static picture of my background behind me, and then I'd have a video, and then I just kind of flip between the two. So there's fun little things that you can do with that. But really, this is the piece that kind of makes it a little bit cleaner around you. And so right now, if you don't have a green screen, the software is going to look for, again, those colors, which you're telling it to say, block out, or we're going to overwrite this and make this a really clean background. In this case, I do have a green screen, so I'm going to tell it screen. You know, you can mess around with the mirror video, which again just flips things. So if you see that your, you know, I see that Jody has a really nice ESA backdrop. And sometimes if that's backwards, this is where you change that in your Zoom, so it just looks like it's legible to everybody else who's viewing it. So those are little things that again just kind of creates a good user experience. So it's not always about us. A lot of it's about the people that are watching us. So if you can give them kind of a crisper look around you, the green screen allows you to have that uniform color behind you, but you don't necessarily have to have, right? See, this allows me to do a color picker. Do you see that, how that cursor changed? So even if you had a blue sheet and you just wanted to tell Zoom, hey, use this blue sheet as my chroma key, you're telling it what to use. Therefore, it's going to try to block out as much as you can. So even if you say, I can't afford a green screen, totally get it. If you have some color that's going to be different than what you're wearing, right, Tim? Different color than what you're wearing. That's the way it needs to work. So again, you're trying to exclude that color from everything. So here's the deal though, is as you start to build PowerPoints, as you start to look at video, as you start to integrate these things, green becomes a really tricky color if you're working with life sciences. Ta-da, right? There's some things that are just kind of a bear, which is why I do, you know, this kind of interface, because I find it to be easier. I just noticed that, yeah, there were black spots on my head and some of the other things. I was messing with some of those chroma keys later, and I'll show you OBS in a bit. I'm just not going to show you that right now because I want to start really simple, because this is going to get more and more complex and I don't want you to be overwhelmed. To me, it's really about how do we start, you know, kind of where we're at. And just to kind of give us a visual, because I'm a very visual person, what I'm going to do is, does everybody know how to share their screen on their mobile device? You want to learn how? So at least for iOS, sorry, I can't speak to Android at the moment, but it usually has some type of screen sharing feature, but that has a record screen button. So a little recording button here. So if I were to click on that, it gives me options for screen recording. I realize that's backwards to you, but it has Zoom, Gmail, but it says start broadcast. So if you see that I'm actually logged in I'm logged in twice. So if you want to increase your, you know, your meeting settings, just log in yourself from multiple devices, try to increase your street cred. Tim, just totally ignore that. Just totally ignore that. But if you do start broadcasting, what you'll see is that my screen is now being shared, right? And now you can see that screen that I was trying to show you this way can now show you this way. And then when I go back into here, here's all my apps. That's what I did use the other day when I was showing you Video Leap. So if I want to edit a video, again, and do that online or on Zoom, this is the way I can do that. And then if I want to go over to, let's see, where was I going with that? Oh, that's where I was going with that. A lot of the times, if you don't have a document camera, you just kind of use what you have. I have this little truck for videotaping some other things. And so a lot of times I'll just use this to kind of give myself a place to rest. And now I've got a document camera, which is my phone. And so if I've got, and so this thing rolls. And so sometimes an eraser is a presenter's best friend. So I'm going to put that there and kind of wedge it. And then voila, I've got an instant whiteboard at home using my iPhone. So the other part is that, can you all still see this? Yeah, can you all still see it? Okay, it's hard to know sometimes. So this is my document camera, right? We're starting with green screen. Your green screen is showing. And I'm gonna go also show you my actual green screen that I'm using. I also have it in my resource packet. There's a couple of little setup tricks that you should be aware of. I think this one was maybe 120, 130, which is on the higher end for these screens. But I tell you what, I would buy another 2 or 3 of these because they just are they're that good. Super easy to retract, so they come right up pretty quickly and they stay really taut, which really is important with lighting and making sure you don't have any wrinkles or any of that stuff, which you will struggle with sheets. So the more you kind of fold them and put them in a pile and then you put them back out again, you're just gonna be wrestling the green monster for a really long time. And so I actually have a room downstairs that's just for like large green screen stuff, and that's permanent. The boys can use it if they want to do some stuff, but really otherwise it's a huge pain because it needs to be steamed every time to get the lighting just right, because otherwise you're going to spend so much time on editing. So getting your lighting right and getting all that stuff is really, really important from the get-go. So with the green screen, oh yeah, maybe I can just zoom in. So if I hit my zoom button, look at that. So you can actually read that maybe a little bit better. So here's my iPhone, and I've actually been using my sketches a lot for teaching this semester because I don't have a whiteboard. I want to be more personal with my, so I'm trying to be digital yet trying to be more personal, and I'm also giving them, you know, me overview on a screen here, and a lot of times I'll show Canvas at the same time and show what module we're working on, and then I also have a whiteboard sitting here. Again, I probably don't need a green screen in all this, but what it does is it just adds that little is it Friday? Little extra. I'll edit this out, Brian. You're totally gonna be annoyed with that little blit. Just don't worry about it. So this is right, that little extra that makes them feel like, oh, this seems more personalized. This seems like I'm like in a classroom, but not really getting that kind of experience that I'm used to. So I've been trying to create those as much as I can without it truly taking a bunch of time. So once I get these things set up, it's honestly a matter of turn on screen capture, start recording, and then I've got a video that I can throw into Video Leap, or I throw that in Camtasia, or I throw it at whatever software then I want to finish it. But to me, I use OBS, that open broadcaster software, to do all that because it's free. And I'll show you how to set some of those things up from a very basic standpoint. But I'll also show you some of these other things that I'm doing, which is a live feed into my Zoom that allows me to kind of integrate all this and record it to the cloud. So it's all ready to go. And then if I pin the videos or think about that the right way, then I've got kind of all this material to go to when I'm ready to edit. And that's one of the biggest things I want you to think about is, you know, are there steps that you can take to kind of start to package these things so it's easier to digest when you have time to do it? Because you don't always have time to do it when it's fresh in the mind. And so having that in a place where you can then go and edit it and then consume it and create it, or kick it out there, I find it to be a lot easier. So if we're looking at this, let's see, making sure that doesn't go out of focus. Oh, that's the other thing is I can actually, if I'm teaching insect pest diagnosis, I can show them how to use my phone and take really good images by using the screen capture, and I can do that remotely. So again, trying to integrate all these different technologies while thinking about my mission within my classroom, which is teach them good pest diagnostics, and imaging is definitely a part of that. But for us today, I'm really focusing on, you know, sorry, there's a little bit of lag. So this idea of, yes, Brian can draw, but that's not the point. Right. So we are here, we're trying to start small. And what I want you to really understand is, where is your hurdle? So there are things that you're currently doing, but there are things that you want to be doing then you're not. And part of that is, you know, you could do it, but will you? Right. So there's a lot of great stuff that I think we're shared over the last 7, 8, 9, now hopefully 9. That's cross my fingers that you get something out of this, but there's been a lot of material. But usually I could, but will I? And so I want you to kind of figure out is, where do your hurdles really reside and what's preventing you from getting over that hurdle? And I find that these sessions can be really helpful, but they can also be a complete overload too. So if you start to find some simple things that you can do to really start to integrate into your programming, I encourage you there, because then it becomes a real rabbit hole. So, you know, as you chase the backgrounds, hey, I could do that. I could change my Zoom. I can put my setting in there. I can now get a green screen. I can start to play around with that in my Zoom settings. And now if I get even fancier, which we're going to just for a little bit, is get into this OBS system. Everybody's familiar with PowerPoint. I'll show you how I integrated PowerPoint with OBS, so you get an idea of, there is some chroma in there, but it's not necessarily the green screen. It's that's idea of blocking out that color. And, you know, showing you OBS, but keeping this really simple. You have scenes, right? Right now you see this scene, right? And if you see my other video, I'm in the bottom right-hand corner, right? And so the cool part is I can switch. I can go away. I can go over here. I can go back over here. And if I'm just being really weird, I can be, wait a minute. How did okay, that's just freaking me out. So what you can do, right, is start to figure out where it's best to position you based on the content you have. And then when you start to overlay PowerPoint information, right, this idea that you're interacting with your content and getting your people on the other side to be engaged in that process, so where they want to stay like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen next. I wonder what's going to happen next. Again, not losing sight of what you're trying to get them to do, which is, in this case, maybe stretch a little bit, right? Get yourself to stretch a little bit beyond what you're currently doing and thinking about, hey, I wonder if Greenscreens or this OBS might be a way for me to stretch my tech skills. Again, it's a software. I download it, I open it up, and what do I get? So let's go ahead and, any questions on the Zoom part of this yet? Since that's still there, we're going to see. I'm just going to show you my, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I have a quick OBS question and Zoom.
Yeah.
And this might be something you're talking about later, is connecting OBS to Zoom is not as easy as I expected.
No? Okay.
Do you have so it's on a Mac anyway, it looks like you need another app to do that. And I didn't know if that was the same on it.
It's not on the PC. PC is a simple button, and I'll show you what that looks like.
Well, that figures.
But I also see that it's different too, because I have it on two PCs and one has a newer version, and it's a lot easier to start it. So I think they're getting better at it, knowing that a lot of people are starting to use it or aware of it. So with open source like that, the more you start to use it, the more you start to develop it, the better it is. So I'm going to show you my green screen. Again, just using my camera mode, and that way I could also snap this picture if I wanted to share that later. So really, this keeps it pretty tight. I've got lights all over the place. That one's kind of off at the angle because I figure it gives me too much light on that back corner. But really, this isn't the part that I love. You ready? That's it. And there's a little latch there and a latch there. And oh, by the way, having this swivel will really help you in the setup early on, right, Erin? It's the little things that really will keep your loved ones, your furry ones, from being trampled by green screen. So that's the green screen. That's the basic setup for it. So again, thinking about trying to get the distance, making sure that it fits, knowing where your edges are, and then lighting becomes really important. So I've got, this is actually a sunlight for sun therapy. I just figure it has a lot of the good, and it just helps me. It just makes me feel good. But then there's all this other ring light, so you can kind of see that they're a little bit different lights. So this gives me different colors. And then I've got these other ones, which are actually in the resource packet that I absolutely love. I feel like they really just light up the entire room. And that is, in a nutshell, kind of my setup. And so I just, oh, and I just took a bunch of pictures. Isn't that fun? So I'm going to have like 500 pictures to delete later. That's okay. So where are we? We're at the green screen. And so now, oh, sorry, we're at OBS. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out of here, and I'm going to get out of here for the moment because you don't necessarily need that. I'm going to stop sharing. There I am. And let's look at OBS. So this is the magic. You see that okay? I hope. So this is what I was talking about, where there's scenes and there's sources, and then there's this mixer part where you can increase your audio. You can change your, from either your audio coming in this case, I'm using a Yeti Blue mic. It seems to do a pretty good job. It's about $100 bucks. I just got this from like some extension sources that needed to be spent here not that long ago. Does that sound oddly familiar to people? So you can change these, you can change the mics, you can do a lot, you can input a lot of different sources, which is really great. And then, you know, the stuff that I haven't really played around with yet, because I'm just using it for very basic things. I need to record screen captures, but then now I'm getting into more of the online kind of presentations that are synchronous, not necessarily asynchronous. So I'm really exploring this Zoom option, which I find to be pretty useful, but there are some tips. You need to kind of, some things that could prevent you from getting online really effectively. So something we'll talk about here in a bit. But really, I've got, you know, some things where you just start to see that, oh, that's right. Now it's kind of back to normal screen, something in the background. But if I go, hey, I want to present something on this side, right? Then I can be like, oh, but maybe I want my full picture in there. Right now I got full access to my green screen, but see, now I've got all this material back here that's really clean because I've got a green screen behind it and I've told OBS that I'm using it. So again, this is really where you can do this on the fly too. So again, now that I'm just feeling really small right now, but that's okay. It's Friday, we're all tired. It's almost 3 o'clock. But even during a presentation where you feel like, oh, I want to change that. So instead of stopping, changing your position, finding a different, like, and then editing all that later, this allows you to kind of do a lot of that and then clean that up in editing much quicker. So for me, I'm a lot about, I try to increase my efficiencies as wherever I can. And if I'm doing a lot of takes and they're not very good, or I have to start to take images from, or video from that camera and bring it over to here, versus if I can just kind of start to flip these into one video file that I can quickly edit and chop and integrate into a finished product, for me, I'm more likely to create content. So again, I'm always assessing my own hurdles. So I'm not asking just you to do that. That's something I ask myself, is like, I could be doing this better, but why am I not? What's kind of getting in my way? Sometimes I just need to learn something new.
Ryan, why are we seeing 6 of you or even more into Affinity? It's a little,
yeah, isn't that crazy? Yeah. So
it's hurting me.
So the thing is that so what it's doing, so just to show you how that works, it's a great question, right? So now you only see me, right?
Right.
Because what I'm telling the software to do is capture the desktop. So it's like looking in a mirror, right? A mirror on mirror. So if you're telling it to do that, and then you open this back up, it's going to keep going back. So what this is doing is saying, hey, here's the desktop, right? And so if I just move that out of the way, that's what you were seeing, but this is what the desktop's showing. It's showing you the desktop of a desktop of a desktop of a desktop. So the biggest thing is you can get rid of that if you know exactly what software you want to use. And so that's what I want to do here, is let's just build a scene together. All right. Doesn't that sound fun? Let's call it Nerds. And all of a sudden now you can still hear me, but you can't see me, right? Because I haven't told you what to look at yet. So the good part is if I go back to here, I'm back. I didn't lose you, but I'm trying to build this thing. So what I'm going to show you is that I built this new one called Nerds, right? And so I just do that by hitting new. And when I click on that, there's going to be nothing in here. So I have to actually add sources. So if I were to show you this here and click on it, you all go away because I haven't told it what source to use yet. So the biggest thing is just knowing that once you click a scene, you're not done. You're just telling it, hey, this is the scene and I want Brian in the bottom left-hand corner. In the next scene, I want him big front and center. In the next scene, I don't want him in it at all because I just want to be able to show the slide and nothing else. So real quickly, you can tag through these to say, oh, see how I'm switching through in different places. So cut to this scene, cut to that scene. So this is very much like quote unquote filmmaking, right? So you're going to say, I want to be in the right-hand corner, but really, once I highlight that, I'd rather be on this side of the corner because that gives me a little bit more space. So I'm just more used to doing it this way, but that's where I want to be. But now I need to tell it what to put in the bigger area. And so what you do is you add a source. And so again, another add button, and see, it gives you lots of things to choose from. Keep it simple. You need to tell it audio of some sort. And so if I tell it audio input, it's going to give me, create a new one, or I could use one of my existing ones. So I could use the mic or the input capture, which usually brings it from the system mic. So whatever you tell your system mic is, that's what you want to use. I'm not going to click OK because that's actually going to mess me up here. But this is where you're adding these different features. And the biggest thing is add a mic. And if I add in another desktop, which really won't affect me that much, I'll show you though, you have a display capture, or we're going to play with this a little bit. If I show you a window capture, I was looking for it. So window capture will tell you, will just show a window only. So if I just hit OK, so it's now going to ask me, which window do I want? So just for fun, I'm going to show my Zoom meeting and see if it breaks the system. It might break the system. Let me see. Well, I'll just show you this folder because it's not that interesting. But anyway, it gives you an idea. So you're going to choose a folder. And a lot of times you can take a PowerPoint and present it to, not to a folder, to a window. So anytime you open up a window, it's going to look for that window and it's only going to show what's in that window. So if I go ahead and click OK, now we're going to see this big window here. And if I shrink that down, now you can see that I'm still here, but now I'm showing that window. And this one, if I ended up taking that out of there, again, would be very clean. It wouldn't even have anything from the desktop whatsoever. It would just show me. It'd show my folder in this case. So this is one of those things where you have to know where your hands are and what you're pointing to and how you're referencing it. If you want to then say, I'd rather be, oh no, right? Now I'm hiding. So again, it just goes back to layers, which we do in PowerPoint. So we do a lot of these things anyway. So if I'm going to bring that to the back, oh, there I am. And now I'm like in the middle and I can say it's all up here. So real quickly, I can start to add a lot of things into one place, put a video together where if I need to do this from my phone, right, this would be way trickier if I did this from my phone. You see why? Because I'd have to take a video of me with just my green screen because I don't have that functionality to pull in different windows and other content. So it really depends on what you want to do. I use my phone in the green screen for just a lot of fun things. There's not a lot of work things that I do with my green screen from my phone simply because I don't have access to my folders. I don't have access to Canvas or browsers where I'm going to show my students how to interact or show extension agents, extension people how to interact because we use Canvas for our crops professional team. So it really just depends on like what your goal is. So if you know that, it's a little easier to know like, hey, should I use OBS or should I use my phone? For the most part, for this type of content or training, I use OBS. So this is a way to add those windows and you're like, well, maybe I want a couple of things. Maybe I want this, but I also want to add another display. Sorry, I keep looking around my thing. I want to add a window capture and it's just not showing me. Oh, I think it's only showing me windows that are in here. That's okay. So if I wanted to show a web browser and make it smaller and again, what that window looks like, I could then tell it, hey, look at that window. I can import it here. And then, yeah, that one I'll just get rid of because I don't need it. And if you make mistakes, right click is your friend. If you just learn anything from today, right click is your friend. So we're going to go in here and we're actually going to, oh, where's my delete? Oh, you just take a minus. Are you sure you want to remove that one? So that kind of brings us back to where we are here.
Would you please tell us what's the name of software that you are using?
Yep. So this is OBS, Open Broadcaster Software.
Okay.
And it is free for download for Windows and for Mac. I have not used it on iOS, so I can't speak to that, but it sounds like Gwen's had some experience with it. It is open source, which is nice. It does have a lot of features. It does, I think it's quite powerful, especially what you pay for it. Yeah, good question. OBS. And there's a lot of great tutorials on it too. I mean, that's really where I learned how to do most of these things. There's a lot of good YouTube stuff. But honestly, a lot of it is just kind of trial and error too, as far as the style, what you want to be able to do with that overlay of, now I'm a video. Now there's, hey, let's look up to these files here, and then, why would that be in, why would we want to do something like that? Well, now if let's see, now I'm kind of messed up because I've been moving that around. Any other questions while I'm kind of figuring out where oh yeah, that's what I did. Okay. So I'm going to delete that. Are you sure I want to delete that one? Yes. I'm going to go back to here. And then I'm going to go back to surface above. You see how I just kind of, again, you're building layers in here, especially when it comes to the video or the imaging sources. Like if you're missing, just go back and check your sources. What's the order of those? Because that does matter. And then your scenes is kind of saying, here's my preset for where I want all these to show up. And once you get that going and something that's very consistent in your programming or the types of videos you want to produce, it's very simple to really click on. Like I said, once that is set up, again, I can go in various places. That's my title slide. And if I go to nerds, I remember I didn't put anything in there, so it should go completely black. There's nothing there to show because I haven't put any sources in. So I'm going to go back in this corner here and just stop talking for a little bit and maybe just show you, I think some kind of cool things you can do with content. Any
Excuse me.
question? Yep.
Yes, I have question.
Sure.
I downloaded and I'm installing. Okay, but it seems me the during the installation, it asked me the service. Which service should I choose?
Which one does it give? I forget. It's been a while. Which one? That's a good question. Which one does it give you?
It means YouTube, Web TV, VIMN. There is a lot of service. Which type should I?
Good question. Let's pull that up and see what that looks like.
Can I share my screen with you? You can see
Sure.
what,
Yeah, let me.
what
Yeah.
happened.
Yep.
Yes, this one. This one. This. There is so many.
Oh, stream. Stream. I got it.
Yes.
Yep. I don't use it for streaming, but you could. That's a really great question. Do you do any type of streaming right now? I mean, do you stream on YouTube, or is
No.
YouTube even an option in there? I think it is.
No, but
Yeah.
should I choose a stream?
Is there any that allow you to say to skip it?
A lot of.
Yeah, what about auto configure stream information? Please enter your stream information. I'd say, did you click on the stream button? Because usually that doesn't pop up unless did you start?
If I don't choose any option, it doesn't give me any permission. Look at this. This is not activated. I should choose one of them.
So if you cancel, what happens?
It means back.
The cancel. So yeah, I'm missing something. We can talk at, why don't we hold that off to the, I'll stay on for a little bit and we can kind of troubleshoot that if that's okay. Because there might be something that we're missing here, but yeah, good question. Yep, good question.
Okay, I stop sharing and give it to you. Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's yeah. Make sure you remind me at the help me remember at the end, and I'll see if I can help you troubleshoot that. Good. I love that people are trying that. Awesome. So what does this really look like then? I mean, if we were to teach this way, so part of it is, getting some good images. And so I'm showing them how to do some of this from their phone using a macro lens. This is one that is my favorite, XENVO. It's really large. It's one of the largest ones I've ever had, but I tell you what, it covers the lens, and this clip actually extends, so covers actually most phones. This one is, I think, 40 or 50 bucks. I did not put this in my resources, but I tell you, that is one that I take with me everywhere. The up close video stuff is probably some of the best I've seen. It's also got a lifetime warranty on it, it says. And I mean, these are the types of things I'm capturing with it, which I'm really happy with, because again, I'm trying to show my students, this is what you're going to get. Most of you are not going to have really good resources to do this on the fly in the field. And so talking with agents, talking with students, this is trying to give them, like, this is probably the best you could do. So how do you manage the diagnostic with it? XENVO. XENVO. And I'll find a link for that, and I'll see if I don't know, Erin, if you can find that one for me. I didn't think about putting that one in there, but I got off of Amazon, so if you searched it for there, I know it would pop up.
Is that the correct spelling? XVNVO?
XE as an elephant, NVO. Yeah, I could just type it in there, but this is more fun. So the other, it's late on Friday. You're all doing an awesome job, I must tell you that. So, okay, you've got images, but I think the other piece that is also interesting is that you could do some video. So what does that look like? So if I want to, here's the thing, teaching in pandemic, do this from 6 feet away, right? And in a mask, and all of a sudden, like they, who are you? And I can't see that, right? And all of a sudden I can have an online meeting where it feels less like I'm talking to somebody in a box over here and trying to relate it to the screen here. Again, that's just that you're kind of removing that barrier in my mind, which is why I've just been kind of gravitating towards how can I keep thinking about making this feel more like in person. So one less, like integrating a PowerPoint into OBS. That's one way I feel like that can be done. Don't always have to do that, but if you're creating video, that type of content, I feel like this to me reduces a lot of those barriers.
Brian, how would you point at something on the screen and with your hand? What can you see? I mean, if you're going to emphasize something on the screen with your own hand, can you do that or no?
So it depends on how far my green screen goes.
Oh, I see.
But here's the deal though, is if I can zoom that in, depends on if I have panning and all that, depends. If I have it on my tablet, I can make a lot of that work and I can actually write on it. I just have this set up where my second screen just for this presentation is a lot easier to manage. But if I was doing this all on one, I could actually be writing on my screen and interacting with this and it's showing up behind me.
Okay.
It just depends on the software that you're using, especially if it's video and you want to do markup, that's going to be tougher, but an image, a lot easier to do that. I think some video software allows you to do those types of edits in real time. But honestly, this is, the mouse, I can say, hey, if you look at this discoloration here, and then if I go back and pick up, here's what happens when you look at a later planted sunflower stalk and you cut it down the middle. And then I do like a what's in the, notice and wonder, what are you seeing? What's the same? What's different? And the cool part is I can scrub, if it's just, I haven't had time to edit it and I just want to show some clips in here. Again, like, okay, here's the pith, right? And you can still see there's still a lot of moisture here. The other ones are more dry. Like we can start to see some of those different differences. And I don't have to go through and like edit all that stuff. I pull it up on my desktop, I put it here. And if I have 80% of what I need and I could put it into one file, I can tell you like that's, if that can save me that much time without having to take it from all these sources and make it just kind of work, that is a hurdle for me. Time to do all that, to put together. Well, for lecture, it does not take as long now because I have all these pieces kind of coming in. It's just making sure I have content. But before it was easily taking, to do a 2 or 3 minute video like really well will take me 8 to 10 hours, like more in kind of a more traditional way. This way it is quick because I feel like this gives me some interaction, like as I'm here, but I'm not annoying, like I'm not walking, but you can make it fun, right? Sometimes I'll throw in some things where I've got my green screen and I'm walking on the top of that, maybe walking on the top of this saying, hey, take a look down here. So whether you want to take that extra step, it makes it engaging and interesting. It might be good for social media to push to the bigger video. Those are all the things you're thinking about with the marketing piece. In this case, again, I'm trying to keep this as, remember, start small, grow tall. What's your hurdle? And if it's, I don't have time to learn all that stuff, get OBS in here, put in an audio, put in a video. You've got a screen of yourself, throw up your desktop, have the video showing, and now you've integrated a couple different things. And I think that's stuff that you can do pretty darn quickly, to be honest. Maybe in a couple weeks' time, you could easily be producing these types of like experiences. And as long as you just gotta try it out. Oh, lost my. So I just want to show you what kind of video look like on here, which I think it does a good job capturing. Again, you have all this other fodder that I won't worry about, but like, okay, now I'm going to show you how to, right? Look at this, look at that, cut this open. Oh yeah, look at this. Doesn't that color look horrible? Why does that look horrible? Those that are paying attention at home, why does that color look horrible? Doesn't it look horrible? Like green looks.
Because it's green, right? No.
Right. And so what if I deleted, where did that go? See, this is the thing. Oh, it took to put that chroma back in there. So if I went in and removed the chroma key, right, and told it that there wasn't a green screen, it would give me the real green. It wouldn't try to manipulate the colors on here. Because right now what I'm showing here, let me show you the difference here. Let me show you the difference. Well, I'm getting that up. Any other questions? I just want to show you the difference here. The color is, I think, quite different.
Yeah, Brian, I'm wondering, some of the words and text that you're sharing behind you is really blurry to me.
Okay.
And I didn't know, is that something that has to be like optimized in some way?
That's a good question. So the behind me, like when I'm showing which parts, the PowerPoint piece, or like right now?
Well, yeah, like now, but you were just sharing, I don't know, it was like file names, and all of that text was very blurry to me.
Okay. No, that's good to know.
Is that internet connection, or is that?
It might be. And those are things where I be very, very honest. I'm trying some of these things out. A lot of the stuff is fresh. I tell you, from a recording standpoint, it doesn't look blurry. That gives you pretty good output. Most of my stuff has not been live broadcasting, but I took a chance and trying to show all of you. So that's what I'm saying. I love the feedback, because those are things where it's like, and Erin has been, a guinea pig for a lot of this, going, is this working? Is this working? Like, did you hear that? Can you see that? Because I'm trying like new settings, and not all that's gonna work. Great question. I do want to see if that's like a limitation where you just have to have really big block lettering. I think has the images and video been showing up okay?
Like, Brian, your screen right now, it looks crisp to me, but I agree with Sarah, when you were showing us like the view of that folder, I wouldn't be able to read that. And the plant to me that you have in the background, I can't tell that it looks bad because it's not really sharp.
Okay, so hold on a second. So what I'm going to do, since
So when
that's
you're asking like what looks wrong,
Yep.
I couldn't really tell.
Okay, hold on a second. That chroma might be really messing me up. Let me do something here. Filters.
But like sometimes like your screenshot of your phone, it's really crisp. Oh, okay, that's better.
Like a lot better.
Yeah. But I guess if you weren't familiar, I don't know why that looks bad, honestly. But I mean, maybe that's a talking point in the class.
How about that?
I wouldn't be able to pick out those letters. I can't read it on my screen.
How about, tell me, help me out. Where's the view button? Different views. There we go. Right, this is where you have to trial and error it.
Yeah, your entire screen is blurry.
Yeah, I mean, you look crisp, like your silhouette looks crisp, but not not that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although the word recording is clear in Zoom, but everything else is blurry.
So then what about when the video plays? No, this is good feedback. Thank you. Wasn't expecting that feedback. That one is blurry in a second. Hold on a second.
It's harder because we don't know the source, whether it's blurry or not,
Right. So that right there is pretty clear for me.
Pretty fuzzy to my eye.
Is it?
Yeah.
Not like that photo you showed us before. Or was it part of the video? Yeah, now it looks good.
Now it looks good?
But looks better than when you were playing the video. Oh, even better.
Yeah, it's a funny thing. I haven't done anything, so I'm just wondering if it's the lag a little bit.
That's that's the lag. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so those are settings where this is the thing, right? I'm going to keep repeating this till I'm blue in the face or purple. You have to try it, right? You're gonna take some risks, and not all of them are going to pan out, and you're going to get some feedback, but then you're going to improve from it. So now I'm curious about, it seems to record fine for me, but it's not necessarily showing that way for everybody. So getting that feedback early is really important. If anything, again, you could create these ahead of time, give them to them. You're still saving a lot, in my opinion, still saving a lot of time, but having a place that kind of integrates all these pieces in one space. especially as you create stuff. There's no reason why you can't do that on your phone. It's just might be a few more steps. To me, it's easier to use this software to do like some of these longer projects. For me, the smaller projects, I use my phone almost constantly. The 30-second to a minute stuff, I'm doing much larger, then I come back to my PC and do it that way. Good stuff. I need to check that out. So what about when PowerPoint? I'm curious, when PowerPoint was showing, does that, so knife and pith are good, type is on, okay, so anything type related. I'll have to check that out. The PowerPoint, was that blurry too? Do you remember?
It seemed a long time ago. I cannot recall.
Yeah, right. It does seem like a long time ago. But now I'm showing you one of the tricks, right? This is my green screen in PowerPoint. So as I bring in PowerPoint as a window into OBS, or again, that's a new scene, I'm adding in a window, and then I'm adding a new filter in there that says, hey, there's green in here that I want you to blur out. Not blur out, I want you to remove. And so by doing that, then all of a sudden this goes away, and then it looks like the black screen, which is actually my desktop. So this is kind of one of those weird things, like you're going, which one am I trying to, and that's why I love it, I guess, is that it's really a puzzle to solve, like which layer am I and which things do I need to remove, and then how do I make these things start to blend together. I still recommend you start pretty simple on things. If you don't have a green screen, it's really hard to wrap your mind around what to do with it, quite honestly, until you get one, and or at least some green material, and you start to go, oh, this is the things I can do to manipulate. I'm also showing you that, hey, you've got PowerPoint. Oh, look at that. You've got PowerPoint that can, right, act as a green screen for certain things that you can kind of play around with. In OBS, you can do these same type of goofy things with a 0 green screen. So again, you have OBS, you have PowerPoint. Now is it, do you have some time that you want to devote to kind of making this more or feel more interactive? So again, this is one of those things you kind of think about.
Oh, sorry. We had a question. The way that we see you right now is through the OBS. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And it's a layer or a filter that you're putting on with some of the other things you got going on.
Yeah. So I'm going to show OBS again, even though it's going to make Tim a little bit sick.
I'm not sure if that answered your question.
So this is one of those things where, okay, now I have all this going, and when I do to start record, this is just going to record this into one file. So it'll just be like a Zoom recording, right? Where it's just like start, it records, stops, and it puts it all into one file. But what I'm doing for this Zoom is I'm actually doing a virtual cam. So I'm now telling OBS to put out a virtual cam signal that's already started. I'm not going to stop it, and start it. And then when I start it, I'm going to go back. I'm going to minimize that. And if I go over to here and then show you, I know you're going to love seeing yourself here too, right? Don't look at that part. Hi. Oh, hey. Oh, hi. Oh, that's, are you having fun? Is this how you ESA? Anybody? No? Is this how you ESA?
It takes so little to amuse a department head.
It really does. It really does. So here's the thing I wanted to show you. Here's the thing I wanted to show you. Okay, I wanted to show you. I still don't anybody leave. I still need, if you have green screens, I still need you to help me with something. Okay, you see this though? You can select your camera. Look what's there. Look what's there. You have OBS camera. Ah, that's how this works. You just tell Zoom, go use my OBS camera that I just started. This is way too much fun. Sorry, this is way too much fun. Oh my gosh, this is cracking me up. This is cracking me up. Okay, so we're gonna figure out how to get you all up here in just a second. Just give me a moment. Because that's just too adorable. Okay, getting sidetracked. Do you know what I mean though? Here's your camera. So you're selecting the camera. You're telling OBS, create this window, the scenes as a camera. It's a software thing, right? And then it just sends it to Zoom to say, okay, I'll use all your stuff over here and bring it into what I'm doing. And then just displays it as a camera feed. That's all it's doing. It's not magic. It's just one button right here. So I'm going to move this over. Hold on a second. So what I need to figure out before that happens, hold on. and I know how to do this. We're all going to get to do that. So don't worry, Gwen. I know what you're thinking. Like, I want to do that. So this is what we're going to do. If I go to gallery view, everybody turn on their cameras. Everybody turn on their cameras, please, if you can. If not, that's fine too. And we're going to see how this works. Okay, so no fair. I get to be a little bit more life size. I'm going to there. Okay. So I get to play too. There. All right. Now we're all playing. You ready? Going into OBS. Oh, wait, where'd I go? How'd that happen? What? Oh, no. What's going on? That's not working. How did we do that? Sorry. I don't think it's going to work. I don't think it's going to work. Sorry, folks. I don't think that's going to work. So since you're all still up here, do you have your green screens? Do you have a green screen? No? Do you have something that's like green? Anything that's green? So if you do, shut off your, so go into your settings and shut off your background. So I selfishly need all of your green. Yeah. So this is, since I'm getting really close to the end here, I don't know if I answered any of your questions, but I will tell you I had a lot of fun. And if that's really what matters, then please feel happy, because I had a lot of fun. I'm going to start recording just because I want to get this on camera. Oh, and since it wasn't being goofy over here, now I just want to make sure OBS is actually, and I'm going to, I don't know how to be. I don't need to be in it. There we go. I don't need to be in it. So you're all good, right? So you have some green. Okay. So I think I'm recording, and because never say I think I'm recording, I'm going to actually stop. Hold on. I'm going to stop. Everybody got the green? Okay, good. Hold on a second. I'm going to stop recording. I'm going to go into my folder. So there's a little setting in OBS that just not setting, file and show recordings, that shows you really quickly where your recordings are. And I just want to make sure that, man, this is really being trippy here. This is awesome. So this isn't you. This is, look at that. This is everybody. Look at that. So that is the video I'll be using, and I see that it is pixelated, so I need to fix that. Cool. So look at that. So now you gave me some green screen material, video. You're like, where'd you go? I'm still here. Hold on a second. You gave me video. There I am. You gave me video to play around with. See how you did that? Like all of a sudden there's green screen material. And I'm just going to see what I'm going to do with it. And if you follow me on Twitter, I'm really trying to get 1,000, because I guess something magical happens at 1,000 followers apparently. So I don't know. But anyway, I'll be posting some of that stuff there. Green. Yeah, it's not easy being green, but I appreciate you taking the time to kind of play around. Hopefully you learned something today. Yes. Oh, goodness. Yes. Awesome. You are all fabulous. This is a great way to end the week. Oh, you're all lovely human beings. So that's, again, just a quick, remember, don't complicate this. Just take that one step. Try it out. You know, if you've got those mental hurdles when it comes to software, and I know there's a lot of people out there, it's just like, I just don't know. Find out what the hurdle is, just take a little time and try to get over it. And then take that next step. So that's all you need to do. So that's our ShareFair. So here's the cool part, right? I don't think anybody that's been in the ShareFair is really proclaimed as like the person that knows all that stuff. This is just a place to have a conversation and for you to join in. So whether it's your question or you have ideas, you have links. There's so many people that shared so much awesome content that weren't the speaker. That's what makes me the happiest out of all this, besides Gwen's awesome filters. So you all are the success of the ShareFair, quite honestly. It's this saying, hey, I want to learn, I'm going to engage, I'm going to try some things. And then here's your deal. Like, ESA is still going. So we're just getting started. If you haven't created a video yet, this is how I ESA. Like, Erin's got a great one started. It doesn't take a whole lot. Just challenge yourself. I don't like to be on camera. I don't like to do those things. I don't either. I hate it. You know what I hate more? I hate listening to myself saying a bunch of wrong things. But you know what I've gotten to do over the last summer is not care. Because it just took a lot of practice to get to that point where I have things that I want to say, I want to get it out there, but I can't be my own hurdle. So a lot of it is you just have to get out there, try some things. You're going to fail, get back up, share it, let others see it. Just get practice of hearing yourself talk, seeing yourself speak. If that's not your thing, I get it. But it's such an awesome thing to do. It really is. It's a lot about that professional development. Extension is all about it. Erin tried a lot of new things this week. I tried a lot of new things. I've got a list of things that I want to go explore. So I really just thank you for entertaining us. And I mean that literally, like, thank you for entertaining us. Thank you for being here. And I wish you best for the rest of the ESA meeting. So this will be online all. Woo.
Thanks.
And I'll see if I can figure out how to make this a little clearer for everybody.
Yes,
Cool stuff.
I have a question. Okay.
Yep.
In the OBS, how can we add our picture that we are speaking to the screen?
Oh, so yeah, I'll stick around if people have questions. I will be here, so don't worry. If you need to go.
I'm gonna run, Brian. Thanks.
Yep. Yeah. No. Thank you.
All you presenters out there, awesome job.
So I think this is what you're talking about. You're trying to figure out how to get this picture here.
Yes, we wanted to add ourselves as a speaker to the screen.
Right. So this one here, see how that lights up in my sources? So this is actually using my Surface camera. So I'm using a Surface, and I'm just telling it what camera to use. So if you put a plus here.
We need two cameras?
Nope. You just need the front facing one if you're using a laptop, or you can use a webcam. If you're getting really fancy, you can use some other high-tech equipment, which will give you much better resolution. Again, I'm just trying to, for me, it was about, I need to use what I've got. So my Surface camera is what I point to. So if I put in, just to show you what it looks like, video capture device, because again, see that icon here is very similar to this here. And so if I add a video capture device.
In which part?
So under source. So sources is where you add all that stuff in here into your kind of, right? This is your palette, right? This is where you're painting all of your stuff here.
Yes.
Right? And so this is where you're adding your sources. And so your source is, here's your video, here's your audio, here's your desktop, here's a window, here's all these different things you could add to it.
It means that video capture device?
Yeah, video capture device. And so right now I could add a new one, but right now it's asked, the only one I have attached is my Surface camera. Okay. So if I were to click Surface camera, it would then want to access my Surface camera. And so if I had other cameras plugged into this, those would show up in this list if they were wired properly, if they're installed properly. So if I had a DSLR that was attached to this as a webcam or whatever, and it's configured properly in your system, it would actually show up in this list, and you could select that, and then that becomes your input. I won't select that, but I'll show you is that under your Surface camera. So if I go into, if you double click on it, it should give you settings and properties. Again, I don't really change a whole lot of that. Maybe I need to based on some of the results I got today. Again, I need to figure that out. But if you right click on it, again, you're going to see filters. And so what you're doing is actually, see now I've already installed a chroma key because this is the one that I was using. That's why it's, right, if I were to, oh, look at that. So that's my real, like this is me, right? And so when I say, now show me my chroma key, that's what it's going to look like when I say, when I close this. and that's what shows up on my screen, is now OBS is looking at my camera feed and says, oh, your camera feed has a chroma key of green, and I'm going to remove that out. And so now all I'm going to show you is stuff here, unless, I don't know, my weird, now that's not showing up. So there was another layer that I had in there that was giving me a black spot on my head and giving me like a weird thing on with my white, like anything white. So there must be another feature that I was messing up somewhere. But there's settings in each one of these that you can then adjust. So you can do some crazy stuff with it. So let's just play around for a second. If you want to hear me, so you can set color, you can do a lot of things. Again, I just try to keep this simple, because if not, then I'm not going to use it. But here are the settings then, right? So all of a sudden, oh, I can be kind of creepy, right? So if you're all right, this is kind of creepy. And so it's Friday the 13th. It's Friday the 13th, right? And so if you're, well, here's the deal. If you're going to do, I know it's very disturbing. Sorry, Gwen. But if you're going to do something like for your students and it's Friday the 13th and you give them a video to watch and all of a sudden you kind of come in like, hello, like, right? I mean, it's just like, do you need to do that? I don't know. If I found it was, sorry, that's really disturbing. If I found it to be funny, if you're ever unsure, go back to defaults. Defaults kind of knows like, hey, this is green, right? See blue. It gives you some common, and you can also do custom. So if you know exactly what your set color is, you can play around with that to get, right now it's a little bit green around my hair and around the edges. This is where you change those settings to kind of get it really crisp. Again, if I was going to do this and I knew 10,000 people were going to watch it, I'd probably spend a lot more time. I've got 21 in my class, quick to market. Here's the content, focus on this stuff. If I spent so much time trying to perfect it, I don't get anything done. So that's my hurdle, is like, I can't expect perfection. I just need to find the best way to get it out there and make sure that my message is not lost. And I feel like, with the right tools, for me, it's about reducing the amount of time it takes to do that. And then while you're doing that, it gives you a better chance to practice and be better at it. And better meaning you feel like your students are engaged. You feel like your clients are like, hey, that was a fun video. Like you're getting some feedback going, hey, that was worth basically saying that was worth your time. And that's the balance in all this, is like, for me, I'm just doing this because I'm trying to practice my skills in this or perfect them. And my students are mostly watching them. It's just like, for me, it's like, what are your goals? What do you want to get out of it? But to me, OBS, like right out of the box, as long as you have a webcam and a green screen, of some sort, you can create this experience within, right, an afternoon. And once you hit this record button, start recording, now you've got a file that you can manipulate. So if you want to do that on your phone, which I often do, I'll just create these and throw them into a folder. And then when I'm ready and I have time, I manipulate them, put in some stickers, put in with some other things just to kind of make it fresh, whatever that means. I don't know how to make things fresh. Sorry. But those are things that's what I do, but I found a way to make it work. So this is the sources, the scenes is like how I flip these. Oh, now if I move it here and I go back to this one, but now it keeps it, right? So it just cuts to those scenes where you want to be placed, where you want these objects to be placed in space. And then that's what transitions do, is allows you to kind of do that more fluidly, but I haven't explored it. I really haven't. It's fun. It's fun. I mean, it's fun. I'm sorry, I'm still up in the corner. It's fun. It's fun. It pushes my brain. I just like things that are like challenging. It's like, ooh, that's a puzzle. How do I do, if I do this feed over here and then do this one over here, but this one's not working. I was like, oh, a lot of people they'd run away. Absolutely run away. Anyway, anything else in OBS that I can haphazardly teach you? Awesome.
This was great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for sticking on. And still, I mean, the filters are just phenomenal. I need to play around with those. Awesome. Thank you all. It was a pleasure. I learned a lot. I learned what I need to fix. Awesome stuff. Cool. Take care. We'll see you online.